What's going on, nerds and nerdettes? It's your boy Darth. We are back with some more Queensblade limit break videos. Yeah, I haven't made a video in a long time. I can't even say it. We're back with some more Queensblade limit break video content. And in this one, this is one of like 2 or 3 that I did promise a few people that I would make. Although it's not going to have the quality that I've done videos with before, I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to tell you what you need to know, and then I'm just going to end it because it's not worth... This particular subject matter, anyways, is not worth going into any further details because of how annoying and difficult the process of making specific headway is. I'm talking about jewels. Jewels is one of the original gearing options in the game. It's also one of the most annoying and time-consuming to do properly, if I'm going to use the right wording. So a lot of people are going to live in one of 2 different worlds when it comes to jewels, and that's all going to depend on how you look at it when it comes down to it. So, like I said, let's get into it. Jewels, okay? Go to your Warriors page, click on any of your Warriors, you're going to have a Jewels page, right? You can equip up to 6 jewels. Now, they're divided into 3 categories, which all that means is that you can get... They just provide you with stat boosts in several different areas. Unlike a lot of the in-game features now that just provide you with HP boosts and attack boosts, these are supposed to be highly customizable and highly specialized stat boosts for your warriors. But they kind of killed that highly customizable option by making the process so goddamn difficult to actually fuse jewels that you may or may not want, let alone get them up to a level that actually matters, depending upon where you're competing at. Okay, a lot of that, I'd said a lot there that may not make sense. But anyways, on your jewels page, you can equip up to 6 jewels across 3 different category types: attack, defense, and specialization, giving you a small to medium boost in 3 different area stats, or a small to medium boost in 6 different areas, or a small to large boost in 3 different areas. And the reason for that is because you can equip 2 of the same jewels, or you can equip 6 different jewels. And if you equip different jewels, you're just going to have a smaller stat distribution across whatever you actually want there. So let's take a look at our index. They're divided into attack, defense, and specialty. Attack, you can invest in crit rate, crit damage, damage bonus, and accuracy. Accuracy counters evasion, helps you hit evading targets. Damage bonus is an all-around damage boost, okay, to direct attacks, whether it's a single target or AoE. It has to be a single target attack defined by magical or physical. It does not apply to debuff damage, and in some cases, most cases do not apply to fixed damage as well, unless otherwise stated. Crit rate and crit damage are self-explanatory. Defense, you can invest in defense, crit resist, evasion, or damage resist. Damage resist, again, only applies to direct attacks. AoE, single target, does not help reduce damage on debuffs. There's a lot of fucking controversy on that one for some reason. Specialty. This is supposed to be where you invest in specialized stats that help out your warrior, i.e. healer, immobilizers, things like that. But it also includes a couple of universal items that, depending upon how you look at it, are a bit more important. Speed, immobilization resistance, resisting immobilize, direct counter to immobilize somewhat, and then healing. Okay, so you can invest in a wide variety of these stats. I do not do that. Okay, I fuse very specific runes. I fuse them with the intent to be very specific on the rune, or the jewels, I apologize. And it's taken me quite a bit. So let's just take a look at 2 things here. Here's my main team, okay? I want you to look at the quality. Orange to red, orange to mythic. Mythic has nothing, they don't follow the same procedure that most jewels do when it comes to fusing them up to get the higher quality. We'll talk about that in a second. This can be done simply by reaching red status, which is here, and then using an in-game currency that you either have to buy or you get through the rare events that happen throughout the year, but you're going to sacrifice a lot of your currency to do so. So you'll notice that most of my runes, or my jewels, are orange. I have very few red runes. Now, for full transparency, let's take a look at my inventory. I have what can only be measured as a shit ton of jewels. I have a lot, and I can fuse quite a few more red jewels. But even if I fused what I had here, I would still end up across one team, because you can equip up to 6 jewels. I can probably end up with 15 to 20% red jewels across just one team. I want to put that in perspective. We are 2 years plus into the game right now. Now let that sink in. I've played pretty religiously since the American launch, which was actually April, not February. And I still have been living in Orange City for the better part of all of last year, going into the 3rd year of the game. That should tell you a lot about the game that you need to know. There have been new systems in the game that are easier to max out and rank up than some of these original systems in the game. One of the other topics I'm going to talk about is blessings. There's not a lot of people that can compete with me on blessings, not in the entire game, by the way. You'll see that when I make that video. But I do not buy jewels. Okay? A lot of people think that I spend a shite ton of money in this game. I do not. I have never intentionally bought a jewel unless it came in a 9-cent pack, which it does now. I've never intentionally bought a jewel for any great price. So 2 years later, this is where I'm at. I can only imagine where you guys are at. So if you meet somebody who's only been playing the game 6 months and they have full-on decked out red runes and they tell you they're free to play, you tell them they're full of shit, and then you come tell them to debate me live on a stream on how they did it free to play. And I will do that for you. Now, that being said, what's the recommendation? Here it is in a nutshell. Because it takes so long to fuse up jewels and even runes, they follow the same process. I want to talk about the fuse up process real quick first. You start with green, okay? You get these, you fuse five just to make 1 blue. Then you fuse 5 blues just to make 1 purple. 5 purples to make 1 orange, and 5 orange to make 1 red. This is why it takes so long. It is stupid. So, I talked about 2 different worlds. You're going to live in 2 different worlds here. You're going to fuse whatever you have. When you synth, otherwise known as fusing, you can grab any 5 of these jewels, put them in there, and it will randomly generate. You're going to randomly get whatever is in the loot pool. However, it does tend to favor the most of whatever jewel you put in. So if you put in damage bonus, if you have 3 of them in there and 2 accuracy, it's going to favor damage bonus, but it's going to be random by all intents and purposes. However, if you were to select the same jewel and they were all 5 damage bonuses, and you went in there and did that, you are going to be guaranteed to get that specific jewel. So, when I say fusing with purpose, you're going to be like me, and you're going to wait until you get 5 of the same jewel. And you're going to fuse them up, and you're going to fuse them up all the way through the line. And it's going to take just as long as fusing up. That's just going to take longer than fusing up whatever you have randomly. Or you're going to fall in that category where you're just selecting whatever 5 jewels you can and fusing up. 70 to, I would say, 80% of the community will never have a red rune. Okay, 50% of the community will never have a full set of orange runes or jewels. I keep saying runes. I was messing with runes the other day. I'd say 50% of the community or less will never have a full team of 5 with 6 orange jewels on them. So if you don't plan on playing the game for any extended period of time and setting goals for yourself, just fuse whatever. and equip whatever you can, because it's not going to matter. Now, I hate being that harsh, but that is the reality of playing a game like this, the way that they have it and the way that they've gotten. I live in fusing specifically. I want very specific jewels, so I wait until I get 5 of that, and I fuse them all the way up to where it needs to be. That way I don't end up with random ones that I just have to equip, because not every jewel that you equip is going to benefit your warrior. They have made some changes. However, one of the quality of life items that they can actually implement is changing that. I'm okay with 5 greens to make a blue. I'm even okay with 5 blues to make a purple. However, they should go 5 greens, 4 blues, 3 purples, and 2 oranges to make a red. Or they could do 5 greens and 5 blues, and then 4 purples, and then 3 oranges to make a red. Basically, they need to reduce this down to make it less stressful, and that way you can have, maybe you'll have more of a variety of jewels that you can swap out amongst various warriors, because in its current iteration, you can't just swap them out and make them very effective without having very specific items on there. That's just one thing that they could do. Now, what they did is they did take and make an update to the red runes where you can actually refine once you reach red. If you do reach red, you can spend this currency here, this little item that you can get for $10 a pop, or you can wait for the events to roll around, but you have to spend your currencies to get them when you may want other items. And you can actually change a attack jewel to a defensive jewel. You can change it to whatever type, or you can change a crit damage to a crit rate. It's actually a kind of cool system, but because most of their player base will never reach red runes, it makes this system stupid. That's right, I said it. Absolutely stupid. If most of us never meet a red rune in the first place, what good does it mean to add this in there for rich people? It doesn't. And their thinking could be, well, yeah, it's only for them. No, it's not. We should be able to reform orange quality and above. Maybe not purple, but we should be able to get to orange status quality and refine those to change them from crit rate to crit damage, or crit damage and vice versa. Those 2 quality of life improvements would severely impact the game and make it so much better. So that brings me to the last point here. What should you guys focus on? Well, here it is in a nutshell. I've been playing 2 years. I've been studying some of the stats. Go for crit rate in both slots on your attack if you can. If all you have is crit damage and damage bonus, fine, it'll work. But when all the sources that you can get crit rate and crit damage, you need to favor crit rate and get crit damage where it's not going to affect your ability to get crit rate. So here you need to go crit rate in both slots. For the defensive side, I favor evade. Now, it only evades direct attacks, but avoiding the attack is better than reducing the damage, because you're still taking the damage. So damage resist is a high priority in this game. You get it from a lot of different sources, but damage resist also only applies to direct attacks, single target, which can be devastating, and AoE attacks. I invest heavily in evade because avoiding the attack, you take no damage. Damage resist means that you take X% less damage, whether it's a crit or not. Crit resist just reduces the chance to crit. Because of defense ignoring effects that the game has actually, breach and defense ignoring and things like that, defense is useless. Just get rid of it, and yes, people are going to argue that all they want. Crit resist, yeah, if you don't take a crit, you can still get hit hard as shit. I bet you're better off taking reduced damage than taking a crit. If you add this to your blessings, it actually adds up and helps reduce the crit. But I go with evasion. I would say second spot would be damage resist and then crit resist. Specialty type, not all healing warriors will benefit from healing. The way that they have set up healing and the way that a specific warrior may cause healing to be done, they don't actually benefit for healing. So you actually have to see and be very mindful that healing rune only applies when the warrior itself does a direct healing action. So some warriors cause the team to heal themselves. Well, that does not benefit from healing. And you do not want to use healing on your warriors, in my specific opinion, you're better off going with speed or immobilization resistance, because immobilization, especially in PvP and higher tier attribute, is a pain in the ass. If your warrior specializes in immobilize and immobilizing other warriors, freezing and things like that, you definitely need immobilize. But waiting for a randomized jewel, you need to fuse up specifically so that you have each of those. Priority for me would be speed and immobilization resist. Unless my warrior needs speed, I don't fear going second, guys. Contrary to what everybody else feels, I don't fear that. I can either avoid the attack or I've got my warrior set up to deal with it. You can go first all you want. I put immobilization resist. Unless my character specializes in immobilize. Like I said, healing doesn't always work on warriors, so it's not worth investing too heavily in, but you still would want to have one. That's my recommendation. That's my thought on jewels, guys. What do you guys think? Where are you with your jewels? Have you gotten your first orange? Do you have a full team of orange? Do you have a... Oh, so go up to grade to mythic. All you need is another currency, but you have to get to red to do it. You see the theme of getting to red, which is going to take 10 to 20% of the population a huge amount of time to do, and then the rest of you are shit out of luck because you'll never be able to use the currency. That's why in the events I tell people, do not buy this jewel if you will never have a red rune. That's why they need to make some changes in the game. That's it. That's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know what you thought about my recommendations for jewels. What's your thought process on that? How do you feel about it? And are you as frustrated with how they've got this system implemented as I am? Until the next one, guys. See you later.